Imagine a beautiful place in Japan, far from the bright lights of Tokyo. Green mountains touch the sky, rivers wind through valleys, and small wooden houses sit beside rice fields. In spring, cherry blossoms paint the hillsides pink. In fall, the leaves blaze red and gold. The air is fresh, the wind gentle, and birds sing a postcard of tranquility. But as you walk through these villages, you notice something missing. The streets are still, even at midday. Gardens bloom, but few people are seen. Maybe an elderly woman sweeping or an old man in his vegetable patch. The silence is deep. There are no children playing, no laughter, no bikes left by the road. Playgrounds are empty, swings moving only in the wind. This is not just peaceful quiet. It's the quiet of absence. Village paths once filled with young families are now mostly used by the elderly. The scenery is stunning, but the lifeblood of the community, its children, is fading. The landscape hides a silent story of change, unfolding across rural Japan. You imagine children splashing in streams or flying kites, but these are just memories. The village feels like it's holding its breath, waiting for a sound that no longer comes. This profound stillness is the first sign of a deep problem facing these communities. In many villages, the local school tells the whole story. Once lively, now its gate is locked, paint peeling, weeds growing through the playground. The basketball hoop is bare, the jungle gym stands alone. This building was the heart of the village, where children learned, played, and friendships grew. Now silence fills the halls. Desks gather dust, blackboards hold faded messages, and a child's drawing may still cling to the wall. Closing a school is more than shutting a building. It signals the village has no more children to teach. For those who remain, the empty school is a painful reminder of what's lost. Without a school, young families have little reason to stay or return. The closed school is a symbol of a vanishing future and a disappearing way of life. It stands as a quiet monument to a time when the village was full of promise. Why are these villages so quiet? The answer is in the numbers. Japan's birth rate has fallen for decades, while people live longer than ever. The result, a shrinking, aging population, felt most in the countryside. In 2023, births hit a record low. Over a quarter of Japan's population is over 65. In some rural areas, nearly half are seniors. There aren't enough young people to work, support the economy, or start families. Young people leave for cities, seeking jobs and opportunity, rarely returning. Villages are left with an aging population and few children. By 2040, nearly 900 towns and villages could disappear. The empty schools and quiet streets are the visible results of these trends. These numbers aren't just statistics, they represent real communities at risk. The silent crisis of vanishing villages is written in these numbers. To understand the human side, meet the Tanaka family. Kenji and Yumi Tanaka grew up in a small mountain village, loving its rivers and fields. But they left for Osaka with their young son, Haruto. Kenji says, "There were no jobs, my work was unsteady, and Yumi couldn't find a nursing position." They wanted a better future for Haruto, more friends, a bigger world, and a stable education. In the village, Haruto's class had only 4 other students, and the school might close. The city offered jobs, schools, and opportunities the village couldn't. Leaving wasn't easy. They missed their parents and the close-knit community. Kenji admits, "Sometimes I feel guilty. We left our parents behind and are part of the problem." But for their son's future, they felt they had no choice. Each visit back, the village feels quieter and older. The Tanaka's story is common. Young families pulled to the city by necessity. Their departure leaves the village even emptier. It's a choice between honoring the past and building a future. The Tanakas know they made the right decision for their family. Their story shows the powerful pull of the city and the difficult choices facing rural Japan. Some choose to stay. Meet Isamu and Chio Suzuki in their 70s, lifelong residents of a northern farming village. Their children moved to Tokyo, but the Suzukis refuse to leave their ancestral home. Everything we know is here, Isamu says, tending his garden. In the city, they'd be strangers in a small apartment. Here they have friends and community. If I don't see my neighbor, I check on him. You can't find this in a big city. Chio adds, our life is simple, but good. We grow our food, breathe clean air, and have our routines. They do radio exercises with neighbors, keeping healthy and connected. They acknowledge the challenges, no young children, the school closed, and sometimes it's lonely. I miss the sound of children playing, Chio admits. But this is our home. Leaving would be like tearing out their roots. They'll stay as long as they can. The Suzukis represent deep attachment to land and tradition. They are the guardians of a fading way of life. Their presence keeps the heart of the village beating. Even as the population dwindles, they remain. Their story is one of resilience and belonging. They are the soul of rural Japan. For young families, rural life is full of challenges beyond jobs. Healthcare is limited, specialized care means long drives. Schools are closing, and those that remain may have only a handful of students. Daycare is rare, forcing some parents to give up work. Newcomers can feel isolated in close-knit, aging communities. Everyday conveniences, supermarkets, public transport are far away. Life is slower, but often harder for those used to city living. These hurdles make it tough for young families to stay or return. Some towns are fighting back, trying to attract young families. They offer cash, cheap or free housing, and subsidies for new businesses. Abandoned homes are renovated and given to newcomers for little or no rent. Towns invest in childcare, modern daycare centers, and free medical care for children. The message: we want you here and we'll support your family. Results are mixed. Some towns see small gains, but many struggle to reverse decline. Without stable jobs, families often don't stay. The weak local economy remains the biggest challenge. These efforts show determination, but the problem runs deep. The battle to save rural Japan is far from over. The future of these villages is uncertain and urgent. Some may be too far gone to save. Their last residents will leave, and nature will reclaim the land. This raises tough questions. Should the government keep supporting tiny communities, or encourage people to move? For the elderly, leaving is unthinkable, but costs rise for everyone else. When a village disappears, so does its unique culture, history, and traditional knowledge. Some villages near cities or tourist spots may find new life with remote workers or artists. Technology could help, but for the most isolated places, revival is unlikely. The loss is more than numbers. It's a loss of identity and wisdom. The future of rural Japan is a question mark. What will be left when the silence is complete? Japan's vanishing villages reflect a national crisis. Shrinking, aging populations. What starts in the countryside will reach the cities. Concentrating everyone in megacities strains infrastructure and leaves the countryside empty. A healthy country needs all its parts to thrive. These villages are the keepers of tradition, history, and a slower, more connected way of life. Losing them means losing a core part of Japan's identity. The crisis is a call to rethink the future. Can city and countryside both thrive? There are no easy answers, but the conversation must begin. The quiet of the villages is a warning. We must listen before the silence becomes permanent.